Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mooney and today we're going to do a recipe. So this is one that I've been working on a little bit recently. It actually started off as an RY4 recipe, and then I decided to change it up a little bit. This is a recipe that I call Toffee Nuts. It uses the Inawera Horn Toffee and the Flavor West Tres Leches to make very much a toffee kind of topped cake. I use sugar cookie in it. I use the tres leches and the horn toffee as the top notes in it, and then I use butter pecan and Flavora peanut butter, or Flavora peanut. That's what it really is. It's just labeled peanut butter. There ain't no butter in it. As kind of that the nuttiness into like a nut cake, like almost like a walnut cake is kind of what I was sort of aiming for with it. So yeah, let's go down and I'll mix it up for you, and then when we come back up I will vape it and I'll talk a little bit more about it. Alright, so yeah. This is actually the second time that I have recorded this. My first time there was a slight hiccup. I got in too big a hurry and recorded this first, then recorded the other two parts of it, and then when I went back to watch this there was no audio. So yeah. So we're going to make the recipe over again. So what we're going to do is, so you're going to notice a little difference between the after from the other video, or the after on this video, than what you're seeing here. This is the bottle that I made the first time around. It's 30 mils. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to pour the 30 mils into a 60 ml bottle, and we're going to make 30 more mils in here. Alright, so I've already loosed the cap. I've already talked about all the ingredients and how wonderful the flavors are on them, and the reason that I used the combinations that I used. So I don't know what I'm going to talk about this time other than just doing it. But let's start at the top here with the horn toffee. So we're going to clear our scales, and the horn toffee we need 4% of, which is 1.34 grams. Alright, so we're going to add 1.34 grams. I'm still trying to find a good place to put the camera where you can see it without my hand being in the way, but I'm right-handed, and not only am I right-handed, but I'm useless left-handed, so I'm sorry it's going to be in the way. Alright, our second flavor for this is the Flavor West Tres Leches. We need 3% of that, which is 1.0 grams. These two flavors together are so good. You can mix an RY4 in with it, which is where this recipe started. You can mix Nutz, which is where this recipe ended up. And 1.02 is a hair of an overrun, but that's life. We'll deal with it. Okay, so now we're going to do the vanilla. So it's Inawera Shisha Vanilla. And we only need a 0.5% of that, which is 0.17. Now this is mostly to make the sugar cookie into more of a cake. And again, we overshoot with that one, but it's vanilla. It's no loss. So our next ingredient is the Sugar Daddy. Now remember, when you're using the Sugar Daddy, that it is VG based and not PG based. So we need 0.5% of it, and that is 0.21. Which, of course, going over a little bit on sweetener is not a big deal. Now we are up to, for this particular recipe, the cake flavor, which is Capella's Sugar Cookie V1. And we are going to need 3.5%, which is 1.16. Now this is V1 on the sugar cookie. I do have V2, but I'm not crazy about it. And I have Flavor West sugar cookie, which I'm even less crazy about. But they do have their uses. That's for another video, though. I'm not really going to go into discussion on the differences of it. Actually, your best resource on that would be to check Noted from like 3 weeks ago. At this point, check the Noted. They did all the sugar cookies. And so our next flavor is our nut layer, which is Butter Pecan by Flavor West. And we need a full 3% of this one, which is going to be 1.01 grams. This flavor is not very potent, and as I'll talk about in the up top portion, it's kind of bitter off the shake. It does mellow out pretty nicely. It does mellow out pretty nicely when it actually gets to the once it gets through steeping. So our last ingredient is peanut butter Flavor West. We need 1% of that, or 1% of that, which is 0.30. This is the Flavora peanut butter. As I complain regularly about, it is Flavora peanut. They just say butter for the fun of it. I guess it's probably meant to be a crunchy peanut butter, but yeah, I really get no butter in it, and most people don't. Most people tend to say the same thing, but of course, as we always say, taste is subjective. Okay, so once again, I'm going to fill the rest of the space on here with my PG and VG mix, and now we'll go back up top again, and I'll see what I said there. And alright, so that was my recipe mix. Let's discuss it again. I kind of went over most of it in the mixing part, but we're going to talk about it again. Horn Toffee and Tres Leches. Wonderful combination to get that dark, super thick, cooked down, old-fashioned Karo syrup flavor like you would get on a Southern-style walnut cake. I don't have walnuts as a flavor over there. I'm not super crazy about it anyway. It's kind of just, I don't know. Just not super crazy about walnuts anyway. Also, I'm allergic to them in real life, so I don't have that flavor over here because I just don't really need it. Then you have like the nut layer that would sit on top of the walnut cake. Of course, I don't have the walnut, so I used pecan, which is a close cousin. And then I used the peanut on there, or the peanut butter. Yeah, whatever. Sorry, it just doesn't taste like peanut butter. It's just peanuts. It's an awesome flavor. It's just mislabeled. So, yeah, I used the two of those in combination to give it that nut texture. And then I used the vanilla, the sugar daddy, and the sugar cookie for that cake. It's not exactly a cake, but it's not exactly a cookie in this recipe. But it works really well underneath it. I really recommend letting this steep for 7 days. You can shake and vape it, and it's good. But it's good after 7 days. It's really good after 14. The longer it steeps after that, the better it's going to get. It really doesn't dissipate that kind of bitter skin pith that you get from the pecans. Does kind of tame down the longer that you let it go. So if you're someone who's going to let this steep for a really long period of time, you might want to bump it up 0.5% or so on the pecan and the peanut both. Maybe 1/4 on the peanut. Just depends on how much you like peanut. Taste is subjective, right? Yeah. This is a really good breakfast vape to me. Goes super well with a cup of coffee, or hot tea if you like that sort of thing for breakfast. But for me, this is a coffee. This is a coffee accompaniment flavor. I can vape it all day. It's a good flavor. It works good in tanks, works good in drippers. But I really like it more than anything in the morning with a cup of coffee. It really complements it very well. The RY4 version that I made first also goes good with a cup of coffee, but it's not an all-day vape to me. And I will eventually get that one up on ELR once I decide for sure what I want to do with it. But this recipe will be up at the same time as this video. The link for it's going to be in the description. Also, the link for the Teespring is in the description. The Kasal links, all the advocacy links, things like that that are in my description will be in the description of this video, just like they are on all of them. So, that's a damn good little vape. Yeah, so that's all I've got for you today. Y'all try this out. Let me know what you think. And thank you so much for sticking around, and hope you enjoyed.